Think of this. The subconscious is doing two things: get you away from pain and get you towards pleasure. Okay, so think about it. When you're in the moment and you're making money, you put £50 a point and it's rising 20 points. In that exact moment of time, is your subconscious going, wow, this is amazing, we're making money, yes or no? Yeah, and that's where the triggering happens. The subconscious gets programmed in state. Now, when that trade, as you can see in that diagram, that trade falls off the face of the earth 7 or 8 days later, the subconscious doesn't realize that the activity it did 7 days earlier caused the loss. Does that make sense? Consciously, you sit there and you go, God, I'm a loser. You just shifted your identity to loser. Good job. Now...
and it's cost you a whole lot of money.
That's going to cost you a lot of money in the meantime. You feel great, or not. And then it's 7 days later, so then you kind of sit and you go away and you stew for 5 days. Oh, I'm not going to touch trading again. It's too much pain. You will not investigate the trade you just did. You'll sweep it under the carpet, because to investigate that trade again, your body will have to experience pain a second time. And your body doesn't want to do that. It's trying to keep you away from pain. So you won't even look at the mistake you made. Does that make sense? You'll sweep it under the carpet, new trade, new day. 5 days later, you'll do exactly the same thing again. Why? Because the subconscious got programmed, didn't it, in the moment where the trade broke out. And it still is only understanding that we make money in the moment when things are moving in an excited fashion. Cannot and will not ever produce an income from trading under that premise. And unfortunately, that's what happens to many beginners when they come in. They see something exciting, they pile on in, they trade in off a tip, and of course they get in and of course they get burnt. How do you turn a trade around like this? Well, one of the tools we use is, if someone's been trading for 10 or 15 years and they've been trading with these kind of rules, they will not recognize that's what's going on, because they will not have studied their losing trades. They just sweep them under the carpet and they move on. That's generally what happens. First thing we do, we go check out the losing trades, see why they're losing. Then we get them to recognize, okay, there's some things they're doing consistently every time they lose. Can we establish what they are? Well, in this example, when we look at the chart, we can certainly see those overextended bars would be a bad idea to enter trades on those extensions. So we're going to say, look, we never enter trades unless the bars are really small. Suddenly they go, oh. So if you see big extended bars, don't enter the trade. It means they're going to crash back against you. We want to be in when the bars are small, early entry, and we're going to sell or close that position when the bars really start extending up, taking the 20 points out. That will shift that person round. If someone's in a state where they've been trading in this very, aggressive, overexcited fashion for too long, and it's become hardwired, they must be broken. And the only way you're going to break somebody is to freak their mind out. How do you freak a trader's mind out? Real easy. You take them for a week and you say, right, here's £500 or here's £5,000, whatever it is. Your job is to lose it. Okay? And all they've got to do is they're going to have to try and lose it. What do you think they'll end up doing?
They'll make money.
They'll make money. They'll make money. It'll freak them out. They will lose on a bit of money. Of course they will. But by Wednesday or Thursday, they'll have a few trades, because they'll be doing the opposite of what they're currently doing. And then they'll start making money. And the question they'll be asking themselves is, maybe the market's not against me. Maybe it's me. And when they have that mindset and they realize the market doesn't even know that they exist, when they hit that, and you can never tell somebody that. Somebody must experience that. And the only way they can experience it is exactly by doing that. Here's a load of money, go lose it. They try and lose it, and suddenly they start making money and they go, oh Christ, this is not against me. It's not about the market, it's me. And then they realize the shift has to take place at that time. It's the only way you break somebody who's in that experience. Okay, great. So let's have a look at... let's kind of continue down this theme. The subconscious gets hooked on excitement, very much like drug addicts get hooked on drugs in the moment. Traders feel pain, and they will not review their trades, as the pain would be re-experienced on reviewing, and the subconscious prevents reflection. That's really why traders never improve, who trade out of excitement, and gamblers. People I call the go-it-aloners, the guys who buy a book, go home, hide away in their spare room in their house, and trade on their own while their spouse is not watching. These are the ones who get all kind of conditioned and caught up into these battles, and that needs extending, pulling out, and they need to realize that money and psychology are very, very, very strongly linked. Do you notice when you get your credit card statement, and if you've overspent by £3,000 or £4,000 that you've forgotten about, when the statement comes in and it says, okay, minus 12,000 this month, do you feel it in your body, yes or no?
Yeah.
Of course you feel your stomach and your chest, like, oh my God, I spent that much money. Do you also feel it in your body when you've made a load of money which you didn't think you had coming in, yes or no? Yeah, we feel it, we sensory experience this on a physical level, not just on a mental level. The subconscious will prevent your body experiencing pain, and therefore will stop you reviewing the problems you had. And of course that will just ensure that you continue doing all the mistakes unless we unwind. So what would the answer be? Get a coach. The quickest way to shift from understanding some principles to really knowing some principles, of course, is doing what?
Get a coach.
Getting a coach, but doing it. It's doing it. It's right. I mean, understanding something and saying, yeah, I really understand how that works, and saying, yeah, I know how that works. There's a difference, a different power in that, isn't there, between I understand logically how that breaks down and works out, and somebody saying, yeah, I know how that works. And they know it because they own it because they do it. And there's a big difference in how you shift people from understanding stuff to knowing them is you've got to coach them. When we coach you via knowledge to action, what we do is we, first of all, got to establish where you are, and you might well be here. And your goal might well be somewhere up here. And whilst you will certainly not get there in a straight line, we've got to try and get you from here to here in as short a time as possible. And the only way to get you to do that is we've got to get you to change what you're currently doing. And people make changes when they get to a place called threshold. That's always where changes take place. Remember, we will always do more to avoid pain than we will do to get the things we really want. So the quickest way to get somebody to here, in other words, get you to heaven, is to take you to hell first, if that makes sense. In other words, we've got to show you the impact long term of continuing doing what you're currently doing, and show you where that's going to end you, where that's going to send you, and get you to recognize that very quickly. In other words, get you to pain quickly, so you go, oh, I've got to change things around here. If I just continue doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be over here, and I want to be over here. And it's okay here at the beginning. It makes no difference. You extend it out 10 years, those lines part, just 1 degree shift, and we're in a whole different country. In a whole different world. But to get people to shift, they've got to realize, boy, if I don't make the small change I might need to make now, it's going to be a huge change down the track. And in fact, for most people, they get so far down the track, the change is so colossal, it's massive, they can't make it. So the real key that we make sure that we teach you how to trade, but boy, if we don't coach you, if we don't hold your hand through your trades, your chance of success are really then minimized. You've got to make sure then that we spend enough time with you, identify the goal, and make sure we're on track. The only way to achieve a goal is to measure it. Measure the units. How much do we need to make per month? How many trades should we place per week? How much money are we going to place in the trading account to start with? Where's the goal in 1 year? Where's the goal in 10 years, in 5 years? Plan it out, and then break it down, and then work with somebody who's already doing it to help us achieve that result. And that's really where we're going to go. So the key thing is we're going to trade live, and we're going to review our results with a coach. We're going to analyze out of state. That's the key thing. We don't want to analyze our trades when we're in state. We want to analyze our trades when we're out of state. What does that mean? It means when you're caught up in the trade that you just lost on, you're in state. You're in emotional state. You can't help that. You always will be. The most professional traders on earth are still in state somewhat when they've just taken a losing trade, because no one likes losing money. So in state, there's no point in analyzing or trying to rationalize anything then. You're going to be in response and in reaction to it. You've got to take yourself out, cool, and we will only analyze losing trades and maybe malpractice when we're out of the zone. And then we're going to find some new rules based on your requirements. So we'll analyze, the coach will analyze what you're doing. You'll respond back, and then, of course, we're going to create and implement a strategy. And then, of course, we're going to condition it by simply practicing. And then, of course, we're then just going to go out and test it. Now let's have a look at the trading journey. The trading journey starts off with greed. Most people just start trading what they think, not what they see. They trade off tips, no discipline. They'll trade stocks that other people are trading. They overtrade. And then, of course, they lose all their money. As you can see, the money's fallen down here. Then they jump into the emotion of fear, which is they're trying to make their money back. They're overtrading. Their stop losses are way too tight. They're losing money again because they're getting stopped out on everything. And then, of course, they either die in the tunnel there, never make it through, or they take a different approach, which is effective money management, disciplined, using a simple methodology or two, like some of the methodologies we've looked at over the last few modules, and then consistently using and practicing upon those methodology.